the last two home games. Obviously, you're not used to that. How do you handle that?
You're supposed to lose sleep over it.
Could Klay Thompson be replaced by Dejounte Murray?
The mindset in Golden State right now is everyone but Steph Curry is on the table.
Do you almost feel like that trade deadline coming up, you've got a certain amount of time to show management to keep things together, or they might have to make some major decisions?
I mean, we have a standard that's pretty evident that if things stay the same, that's a definition of insanity, right? Keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result.
We're less than a month away from the mid-season All-Star break, and the Golden State Warriors' woes continue. Plagued by injuries, suspensions, and glaring chemistry issues, the front office is tasked with managing a trade deadline that may or may not prove to be fruitful in lifting the Warriors up out of mediocrity. Well, considering their record is below 500, calling this current rendition of the Warriors mediocrity would be a compliment. Hey, what's happening, everyone? This is Switch Culture. In today's video, we'll talk about the impending trade deadline and what moves the Warriors front office is keen on making as February 8th fast approaches. Before that though, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Switch Culture for the most analytical and entertaining NBA content on the planet. So without further delay, let's get to it. Two years ago, the Golden State Warriors shot out of the gates with an 18-2 record start to the 2021-2022 season. The dynasty had new life, and it looked like the team was on pace to compete for years to come. Everything looked great, except the core from the dynasty looked a little bit different. Instead of the Splash Brothers with Klay as your shooting guard, the Warriors had moved Jordan Poole into the starting lineup in his absence, and JP3 was found money. With a 33-year-old Steph Curry, a 22-year-old Poole, Draymond, Wiggins, and Looney, it looked like this team was set to make noise for years to come. This, however, was not to last. This was the year Klay Thompson would be returning from injury, and everyone was excited to see what this team would look like with Klay back in the fold. With such an impeccable record without him, this team should be unstoppable with KT at even 80%. Without hesitation, Klay replaced Jordan Poole in the lineup upon his return in January, sending Poole to the bench, and an interesting dynamic ensued. While the Warriors went on to compete at the highest level and win the finals in 2022, it wasn't because of what Klay Thompson provided, but what Steph Curry was able to do with sheer willpower and a good boost from Wiggins as well as Jordan Poole. While most people don't realize it, the return of Klay Thompson in January of 2022 was what started what we're seeing today. But the Warriors have some plans in mind, and with a new general manager in charge and the trade deadline approaching, the team is planning on leaving no stone unturned.
The mindset in Golden State right now is everyone but Steph Curry is on the table. Now, realistically, there's an asterisk. Klay Thompson, would they want to keep him long-term and keep him in Golden State? I think that's been their hope. They have not been able to reach a contract extension with him. We've talked about it. And Draymond Green just got back from an extension. Those have been their three core guys in the front office. They're big fans of Jonathan Kuminga, big fans of Brandon Podziemski. They're big fans of Trace Jackson-Davis. But Wiggins and everyone else on that roster except Steph Curry has to be in play for this team. 2 blowout losses in a row. They haven't even been close in these games. And so they're going to be looking to make moves.
The tough part is, if we know this, the other teams know that. And they know their value is so low right now. If you're Andrew Wiggins, if you're Draymond, if you're Klay, so what can you even get for them?
The problem also is you want to make moves, you want to be aggressive, but they also don't want, from what I'm told, they don't want to take long-term money back. You don't want to take another massive contract back. So you think about a guy like Zach LaVine,
can't do it,
who's making 3 years. He's got almost $140 million after this season. And honestly, hanging over all this is Steve Kerr's contract status as well. He's expiring contract. There's no sign of a new deal as of right now for him either.
Wow.
And so this Warriors team, they're teetering right now. As we're just under a month until the trade deadline, I think they will be active. Everyone but Steph Curry has to be in play.
That's right. The Warriors are leaving almost every possibility open. Aside from Steph Curry, every single player could potentially be traded. Now, this doesn't mean that the first suitor that comes to the Warriors will swoop up their pick off the Warriors roster. This isn't OKC after Paul George and Westbrook got charbroiled when the chef cooked. Oh wait, that was Dame time. Doesn't matter. Both him and Paul Ford got exposed at the same time. Either way, that was years ago, so let's not disrupt the flow. I'm hard-pressed to think that every player is actually on the trading block. If a front office has its entire roster on the trading block, usually that means there's a bigger problem at hand, and it may not even be related to the players. As a matter of fact, it's clear that the team's locker room has had this overhanging aura ever since the Jordan Poole incident, and try as they might to move on from it, it just won't go away. What's interesting is that if it hadn't been leaked, we'd be very confused as to what's going on with the team right now. But at this point, it's pretty obvious. Now we're seeing rumors all across the timeline. In my prior video, I shared that the Warriors were interested in trading for Pascal Siakam. That trade involved the team moving up from Draymond Green. The Warriors are still very interested in Siakam, but there are other trade options available. One rumor has linked the Warriors with the Atlanta Hawks in a potential trade for Dejounte Murray. Murray is a 27-year-old 6'5" guard who was traded to the Hawks a year and a half ago after playing his first 6 seasons with the Spurs. The Hawks envisioned a backcourt of Young and Murray. However, after getting bounced in the first round of last season's playoffs and a cold start to this season, landing the Hawks 7th, they're looking for a reset. The Warriors, being second-round exits last season, are looking to make sweeping changes, and this particular option would provide the team with a guard in his prime years that's ready to take some of the scoring and facilitating load off Steph Curry. Now, in the offseason, the team had traded Poole to acquire Chris Paul, but considering his injury history and the fact that he's currently injured, the Warriors are likely not happy with the results. While Chris Paul is great when he's available, the fact that the team is currently struggling to make the play-in shows that it's still not enough. With Dejounte Murray, they get a dynamic point guard that can penetrate like Poole, facilitate to a degree, and score in bunches, minus the mindless turnovers in closing minutes. Looks great. So why don't the Warriors just go out and sign the papers? Well, not so fast. Don't forget that when Klay Thompson came back, he replaced Jordan Poole in the starting lineup, and the Warriors never went back. Klay Thompson is a bit of a stickler when it comes to being a team player, and as you can tell from the video, seems to have some entitlement issues. The Warriors won't be taking on a long-term contract, paying $25 million next year, set to increase by $2 million for the next 3 years after, just for a player to sit on the bench. They'd have to move on from a player. And that's where Klay Thompson comes in. It's almost unfathomable that the Warriors could trade Klay Thompson, but given the team's record, Klay's contribution to said record, his unwillingness to budge on re-signing a contract that helps the team, and his seemingly untouchable role in the starting lineup, the Warriors wouldn't even have much of a choice here. I didn't even mention the fact that, well, that would be the 2-guard spot that Murray would slot into. Having played with Coach Pop for most of his career, Murray would easily be a great fit right next to Curry. If there were no chemistry issues, this might single-handedly save the Warriors' season. So how would a trade like this look? Klay is making currently $43 million a year and an expiring contract. The Warriors could package Klay and Moody in a package in return for Murray and Clint Capela. Considering the recent rumors that the team may be having a change in philosophy as relayed by Tim K, it could make sense for the Warriors to add some depth to the front court in terms of a big man who can score. Here's a clip of said big man.
Ivy, early shot partially blocked by Wiseman. Former Sixer, too strong. Wiseman there for another offensive rebound and put back, and Nick Nurse has seen enough.
Whoops, wrong clip. Murray is a very dynamic scoring guard that plays with pace, averaging 21 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds in 31 minutes, shooting 47% from the field and 39% from 3. Clint Capela is a rebounding monster, grabbing 11 boards and putting up 11 points in just 26 minutes. Since the Hawks are looking for a reset, they get one of the best 2 guards in NBA history who just may figure it out post-All-Star break. If not, Klay's expiring contract allows them to sign up-and-coming talented players to pair with Trae Young, as well as a talented 2-guard in Moses Moody, who brings a different dynamic to the Hawks' backcourt. Alternatively, some of you may say, well, if the Warriors are getting a point guard, why not just send Chris Paul? If the Hawks decide they're just gonna tank the season and can't get a better offer, this deal just might work, and considering they're the 11th seed in the East, I don't see why they need to continue on their current path. They get to see Moses Moody in their lineup while tanking their way to a lottery pick. They get the Warriors' 2025 first-round pick as well as Guy Santos for salary filler. The Warriors get these same guys in return, but this package around Chris Paul takes away the need for the Warriors' first-round picks with the current talent they have on the team across the spectrum. If the team doesn't improve post-All-Star break, they get to at least see Murray in the backcourt with Curry, and considering how well Poole and Steph played together, you can almost assume that the two would fit. In the offseason, if things don't work out, the team could neglect to re-sign Klay Thompson. They could look to Draymond Green and focus on players like Murray, Kuminga, Pods, and maybe even a player like Paul George, who still has yet to sign a deal with the Clippers. If they're all healthy this year and fail to win a chip, it's likely he could be a trade target in the offseason. A team featuring Curry, Murray, PG, Kuminga, and TJD could feasibly compete next season with the right coaching staff at the helm that has a more dynamic approach that prioritizes the team winning, considering this clear attempt to maximize Steph Curry's remaining tenure. Steve Kerr is vehemently opposed to running pick and roll. Steve Kerr also said that the team was missing spirit and effort in a few recent games. So this is beginning to sound like a departure from a lot of things that make the Warriors what they are today. Nothing of the motion offense, veteran core, or coaching may remain after this transition. And now shamelessly, I will close with this clip from Kendrick Perkins, who's never had anything good to say about Golden State, but he clearly cooked with this piece.
Or why Steve Kerr has said this team has lost their spirit, lost their confidence, right? Steve Kerr is getting exposed. I know the spirit, the energy comes from what your coach is saying at practices and in the film room. It's almost like when you go to First Street Baptist Church. You going in there to feel the Holy Ghost. If you walk out of there and you got the spirit in you, damn it, the pastor did his job.
This is the second in hopefully a series of videos I will do to cover the Warriors' potential trade moves leading up to the deadline. If you would like to see more, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all your notifications so you don't miss any of my latest uploads. Thanks for watching. Till next time. Swish.